Hey guys, it's Emily, the Crazy Worm Lady. I'm here today with an update on our Worm Factory 360. Last week after my update, I ended up feeding this bin with a large amount of blended food and then added some coconut coir. As you can see, there's still quite a number of springtails in here. And the core feels a little bit dry, but I figured I would peek through here and see what I find. I added all of these pieces of an old box, and the springtails really seem to like the moisture that gets sucked into the box. I did take them out and rinse them one time, surprisingly enough. And I still have numbers like this. But there's some red mites as well. I'm seeing a pretty good number of red mites. But I'm actually considering just leaving this tray to finish processing itself and pull a little bit of this cardboard out to start my next tray today. So I'm actually going to pull some of this out while we talk and put it into one of these upper trays that I had harvested, and that will be the start of our new tray, because I filled this tray pretty much to the brim, so I think I'd be fine to pull a little bit of stuff out of here, because whenever I open this, I'm afraid I'm going to knock stuff all over the floor. So some of this cardboard's just going to go straight in to this tray over here. And we'll end up feeding that tray today. But let's dig down a little bit deeper, see how they did on that previous feeding as well as that blended food feeding that I gave them. And then we'll get this new tray fed up. You can see how dark the castings are compared to the coconut coir that I have on the top. And they look really nice. There's not as many worms as I would expect in here. It's a little compact down here on the bottom. Some of that white paper that I added just really matted down. So I know now to mix it with cardboard, not use it exclusively. But there's still definitely worms in this tray. And an abundance of these springtails. In the bottom here, it's pretty compact. So let's pull out some more of this cardboard. I'll probably end up shredding this into smaller pieces in this new tray. But I was eager to start this new tray because, you know, it is springtime and I want to harvest as much as possible. And sometimes I feel like I underfeed a little bit. I might even call it overfeeding sometimes, but these worms can handle it. So just trying to keep that in mind and take that into consideration so that I can get a little bit more out of these guys. I don't know what I rolled over, but they were all kind of bunched up in this corner. It must have been something they liked. Some more of this box. There's all the springtails. I want to take one last look at this piece of cabbage too. Still not completely broken down. I don't know if the kind of the stem area will ever break down, but I do like the fact that it was able to. It, you know, told me it was another thing that I can add into my bins. I'm definitely going to have to add some moisture to this tray. I think they must have retreated a little bit. So we'll peek in the tray below just to see if the worms retreated down or if they're just eluding me today. Okay guys, so this is the tray below. You can see all those white flecks. It's just sprinkled with lots and lots of springtails, but there are a decent number of worms in here as well. I did fluff it up a little bit before I turned the camera on. But I don't think many of the worms retreated. I just think they're probably in that bottom of that tray where it's a little compacted. But the consistency of these castings is really nice. I'll probably screen a little bit more of these this week and try to push the limits, getting some more trays processing. In the peak of this system, I was able to get a full tray of compost like every month if I fed pretty heavily and monitored it pretty closely. So I'm definitely going to see if I can do that again. So from that feeding tray we had right here, I pulled out several handfuls of worms, all of the cardboard pieces except for this one, and I added them to one of the empty trays, and now I am going to grab some food, put the new tray on top of this, and feed it. Okay, so this is what our new tray looks like. Like I said, grabbed a few handfuls of the castings from below so that the microbes will get active. There's definitely some worms in here, not a whole lot. But I'm going to add a good bit of bedding here. I'm going to finish dumping this shredded cardboard that I had here. And I'm just going to cover the surface here lightly. And I have a bag of food today, not blended, but it's also not been frozen. So I'm going to have to be careful as far as overfeeding it because it heats up, and also because of the bug concerns. So let me get a handful of this out. Soup stock remnants here, so they've shown to like this in the past, so I will give them a nice healthy feeding of this. A few pieces of celery that were not in the soup stock, so sometimes that takes a little bit longer. This does have ginger in it, which we know can be considered dangerous to the worms, although mine have always been just fine with it, so that's what I'm going to do. So, for sake of not making this too long, I'm going to top this off with some more bedding, eggshell, and I will put the lid on, and we will come back and take a peek next week. So drop your comments below, like this video, subscribe if you want some more content from me, jump over and check out my webpage at thecrazywormlady.com, and I will talk to you guys soon.